This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. He's back in December of 91, and his big return match is a win over Dale Wolf on the December 28th Superstars. He's also announced as being part of the 92 Royal Rumble. He's going to come in about 48 minutes in, and he's eliminated by Sid Justice roughly 13 minutes later. Here in early 92, he starts a feud with Tatanka, and that leads to a match at WrestleMania 8 where Tatanka goes over because, well, he's got the hot hand here. And Martel says he was almost placed with Tatanka as a mentor of sorts or a teacher. And he has to admit in interviews he's done since that by this point, his heart wasn't in the business. It was him focusing on real estate. But if you're trying to get a young guy over, like, you know, hey, we want to push this new character, Tatanka, you could do a lot worse than having him work with Rick Martel and learn the ropes, right?
No shit. And, you know, for Tatanka, that probably did him more good than anything else he could have done.
Martel actually first met Shawn Michaels when they both worked for the AWA, but he wound up traveling with Shawn during his first heel run. And he says that Shawn really picked his brain during that time, and as luck would have it, they actually wind up programmed together in a pretty rare, especially for the time, heel versus heel program. The two were battling for the affection of Sensational Sherry, I suppose. But the match has a fun stipulation too. No hitting in the face. That's just great stuff, you know, especially with these two characters. God damn, that's hilarious.
Well, you know, it adds a different dimension to the match. It adds a different dimension to the match from the standpoint of, I don't really have anybody to root for, but when you add that kind of condition to the match, now I'm actually rooting for both guys to finally punch the other fucker in the face.
It was so good, dude.
Yeah.
It's a fun match. Of course, we're talking about SummerSlam 1992. You got a huge crowd. What a fun show that was. And he says afterward, by the way, we should mention it was a double count out. So how do you end a heel versus heel match? How do you, same way you end a champ versus champ match?
Champion versus champion fucking match.
Same thing, same. He does say that Shawn took him aside, you know, in Wembley afterwards and really thanked him for his first big payday. And, this is going to be sort of Shawn's major coming out party. The rumor and innuendo is that Shawn Michaels was supposed to win the Intercontinental belt from Brett before Brett suggested Bulldog take the belt in London and then later drop it to Shawn in the States. Was the Shawn Martel feud one out of necessity just to sort of keep Shawn in the picture and ready for that next step?
I mean, I wasn't back then at that point, but I could see that being the case because they had Wembley and the attraction of Bulldog there was a huge drawing, just a big part of that card.
You know, obviously Rick's only done a handful of interviews. He doesn't do much in wrestling anymore, but he has said that Shawn became a very powerful personality in wrestling, but not always in a positive way. And he remembers Shawn going way too long with the ladder match at WrestleMania 10, and the 8-man tag that he was in with other guys had to be cut as a result. But despite that, he says Shawn was always very respectful of him. And he thinks it probably is because they had this feud so early in Shawn's career. But that's pretty mature on Martel's spot too, when he thinks a guy he helped maybe bring along goes so long at WrestleMania, he doesn't even get to work the show.
Yeah, one of the shining spots, and you know, it's one of those that people always point back to is this great match. You know, the first ladder match that we did on a national stage. They forget those repercussions. It's kind of like Rock and Mick with This Is Your Life going heavy and how it affected the rest of the show. In this particular instance, how it affected the show and how it affected other guys for their WrestleMania moment that night. They didn't get to perform.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.